Hi dears, this is Miss Diana. In this video, we'll see about A Legend of the Northland by Phoebe Carey. This is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, the link is given in the description. Please watch it. There are 16 stanzas in this poem and we have completed 8 stanzas in the first part. Now we'll move to the next stanza. Then she took a tiny scrap of turf and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer. But she could not part with that. So here scrap means small amount. Okay, so wafer means very thin, like it will be very thin. Okay, so the third time she took a very small amount of turf and rolled it. The poet says that she rolled and rolled to lay emphasis on the fact that she rolled the turf and made it very thin like a wafer and baked it. But she was so greedy that she could not give that thin piece of bread to the Saint Peter. So you can imagine how greedy she is. Now we'll move to the next stanza. For she said, "My cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself, are yet too large to give away." So she put them on the shelf. So the woman reasoned that when she ate the cakes, she felt that they were very small. But if she had to give them to someone, she felt that they were too big to be given away. Okay, so she put all the cakes on the shelf of her kitchen and she did not give any cake to Saint Peter because she was greedy and selfish. Okay, so now we'll move to the next stanza. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Provoke means cause to get angry or making others angry. So Saint Peter became angry. He was very hungry and he was feeling very weak and he was fainting, but the selfish woman did not give anything to eat. Okay, so she was not ready to give him even a small piece of cake. Okay, so this behavior of the greedy woman angered the Saint Peter. Now next stanza. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm." So here dwell means to live. So Saint Peter got angry. Okay, so Saint Peter cursed the woman and said that she was very selfish. So she did not deserve to live like a human being. So he added that God had given her food, shelter and fire to keep warm, but she had become selfish for all the resources she had. So she did not want to share them with anybody. So Saint Peter cursed her. So we'll see the next stanza now. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring all day in the hard dry wood. So this is the curse given by Saint Peter to the lady. So scanty means very little. Boring means make a hole in something with a tool or by digging. Okay, so Saint Peter cursed the woman that she would become a bird because she did not deserve the human form. Okay, and she shall become a bird, and just like birds build their houses by boring into the wood and collect very little amount of food by working hard the entire day. So similarly, she would also work hard in the dry wood all day and get very little food and make a small place for herself to live in. So this is the curse given by Saint Peter. We'll move to the next stanza. Then up she went through the chimney, now was speaking of words, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Okay, so it happened, whatever Saint Peter cursed, it happened suddenly. Okay, so as soon as Saint Peter cursed the woman, she did not get a chance to speak for herself, because that very moment she flew up to the roof through the chimney and flew out in the form of a bird. So Saint Peter's curse had converted the woman into a bird. Okay, now we'll move to the next stanza. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest for her clothes were burnt black as a coal in the flame. So what happened when the woman turned into a bird? At that time she was wearing a red colored cap on her head. Okay, so this cap was there on the bird's head also, but the woman's remaining clothes had burnt and turned black in color, just like coal. When she passed through the chimney, her dress got burnt. Okay, now we'll see the next stanza. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. So here, country means belonging to the countryside or rural areas. Okay, so country schoolboy means the children, those are living in the countryside. Okay, so people who live in the countryside, even the small children who go to school, seen this kind of bird in the wood. Wood means forest. Okay, so they say that she stays there all day and keeps on digging the wood with her beak, okay, to collect her food. So whenever any child sees this kind of bird, then his elders tell him this story. Okay, so they say that the bird used to be a woman earlier, and she was very greedy, and she was cursed by Saint Peter and turned into a bird. Like this, the elder people used to say the story to the younger generation. They get a teaching that they should not be greedy.